Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now, in today's video, I'm going to be going over 7 signs that you are an old soul. Now, I truly believe old souls are actually real. Old souls actually do exist, in my opinion. All right, you ever hear somebody say, they feel like they're an old soul, or they have an old soul, or somebody saying they were born in the wrong generation, or they should have been born, a few decades back, and things of that nature. And we all have those sayings. We all have those moments where we feel like we've been born in the wrong generation, or you hear some people say, you're wise beyond your years, and then you have most young people who are more wise and have more knowledge and wisdom than most older people, right? So I truly believe that old souls actually exist. In this video, I'm going to be giving you all 7 signs that you may be an old soul. You might be an old soul. We'll never know until you find out, until you pay attention to these signs I'm about to go over in this video. All right? So let's not waste any time. Let's go ahead and get started. Spiritual class is in session. So the first sign we got, you like to keep everything simple. Now, are you the type of person that likes to keep everything simple? Whether that be, if somebody asks you if you want something, what you have a taste for, what you interested in eating. You might, just go with the flow and say, oh, it doesn't matter, surprise me. Or you might like to keep your surroundings simple. You don't like to do too much decorating. You like to keep, everything organized and simple. Or you like to keep your clothes simple. You might like to keep your music simple. Just everything that you're dealing with, everything that comes your way, everything that you're taking part of. You're just a simple person. You're just a simple-minded person in a good way. You just like to keep everything simple in life. You're not the type of person that keeps everything complicated, who is, undecisive. You just like to keep things in order, keep things positive and simple at all times. All right, so that's the first sign that you are an old soul. You like to keep everything simple. You're a simple kind of person. You're a simple, laid back, chill, introverted type of person. So the second sign, you feel like you don't fit in with mainstream society. Now, have you ever had those, times and moments where you feel like you don't fit in with society, with the current times and, things of that nature? You're not the type of person who likes to be on their phone all the time, 24/7. I remember, whenever I'm out in public, whenever I'm out at work or at a restaurant, I just see that, everybody's always glued to their phone. Everybody's just, just stuck on their cell phones, just mindlessly scrolling. People walking in the street, just looking at their phone, not even paying attention to how they're walking and where they're going and things like that. I'm just not that type of person that likes to be glued to my phone 24/7 all day. I always keep my phone in my pocket because I like to be in the present moment. All right, so if you're the person who, doesn't fit in, you don't feel like you fit in with mainstream society, you don't belong in the current times, in the current moments of what everybody is doing. You like to, do things the old-fashioned way when it comes to certain things that you're doing in life. You like to do things the old-fashioned way in life. All right, so if you feel like that type of person, you don't fit in with, with the crowd and what's going on in today's times. So, that's a sign that you may be an old soul. So the third sign we got, you are able to connect with the older generation. Now I know a lot of young people, they tend to criticize and, talk about the older generation. They, you ever heard that meme or that saying where somebody would go, okay, boomer, things like that. People, a lot of the younger people tend to, criticize and talk about the older generation, how, this person is old and, they can't keep up with the current times. And the same thing with the older generation. They tend to go back and forth. They tend to go back and forth and talk about the younger generation. The younger generation talks about the older generation. But you were able to bridge the gap between the younger and the older generation. You were able to connect with the older generation. Or you might be able to connect with the younger generation based on your physical appearance, and you might like some of the things that the new generation, the current generation has to provide. but you are also able to connect with the older generation. You probably have, you're able to hold a conversation with the older generation. You are willing to learn more from the older generation. You're able to carry on conversations with the older people, and the older people tend to gravitate towards you. All right. If you ever experience that, if you ever experience those times and have those moments where you are interacting with older people, or you're interested in learning from older people, gaining knowledge and wisdom from older people, then that's a sign that you are an old soul. So the fourth sign, you have a thirst for knowledge. So when I say you have a thirst for knowledge, I don't just meaning that you like to read books and things of that nature. Like I stated earlier, you like to actually have conversations with older people. You like to watch interviews on the internet from people from the older generations who have passed away, or even still living to this day, or you like to have actual conversations in person with older people, or you just love to gain knowledge and wisdom all together. You're the type of person who doesn't just gain knowledge from watching a video or reading an article from your phone, or things like that. You like to read books. You like to engage in conversations with older people. You like to go to seminars. You like to go to different classes. Things like that. You're just a sponge. You're just a sponge for knowledge, and you like to soak up as much information as you can, because learning makes you happy. Learning, increases your knowledge and wisdom. All right. So if you are the type of person that likes to soak up knowledge and loves to learn every single day, because we don't see a lot of that. We don't see a lot of that in today's times. Many people gravitate towards the entertainment videos, instead of gaining knowledge. All right. So if you are a sponge for knowledge, you love to learn, then you are an old soul. So the fifth sign, you prefer to be alone. Now, if you prefer to be alone, if you are an introvert, if you are a chill, laid back person, and you just love to be alone, then chances are you are an old soul. Now, when I say you like to be alone, it doesn't mean that you are antisocial or you don't like people, you don't like being around people. But if you are an old soul, when you're around a whole bunch of people all day, 24/7, it depletes our energy. It takes away all of our energy, our drive, our focus. When we want to gain our energy back into, step outside, the crowd and the outside world, that is our therapy. That is our therapeutic time to ourselves, and we can recuperate and regenerate our energy by being alone. All right. So when we are alone, that's our time off. That's our time to recuperate and to rest ourselves and to rest our minds. All right, for the next day ahead, or within a few hours, or something like that. So if you are a person that likes to be alone, if you enjoy your alone time, to spend time with God, or to just recuperate and recover, then you are an old soul. So the sixth sign, you see the world through a different lens. Now, when I say you see a world through a different lens, you don't see the world the same way as a person who is, stuck in the matrix, or who is, stuck, within the current times, and always, a person looking at the news, or, just reading up on gossip and, things like that. You see the world in an entirely new perspective or spectrum. All right. You see the hidden agendas of the world. You see, what the world is, doing, what the world is, what's happening in the world, right? You see, the future ahead. You see where the world is going. You don't just pay attention to, specific things within the world. You don't just, go after the entertainment, or just looking at the news and looking all the bad and the gossip and things like that. You tend to see the world from entirely from a huge perspective, right? So if you're a person who looks at the world through a different lens, through a different pair of glasses, you have that X-ray vision, and you don't, see the world the same way as an average person would, then chances are you are an old soul. And then the seventh sign, you tend to think ahead in the future. Now, when you are old soul, you tend to look ahead into the future within your own life and within the world in itself in general. Within your own life, you may, think ahead in terms of, investing your money. A lot of young people, they tend to focus on what they can buy and what they can, the designer clothes and the jewelry and the cars and things like that. You don't care about material possessions at all. That's another thing that old souls, don't care about is material possessions. All right, so you tend to think about investing your money in, in the stock market and gain generational wealth. You think about, within the world, not just in your personal life, but within the world. You think, how the world is going to turn out in, maybe 1,000 years or something like that. Well, many people, they tend to think, about the next day or the next week, or when the weekend comes. You tend to think ahead, like how's the world going to change, and how is the world going to be affected within 1,000 years or something like that. So if you're a person who likes to think ahead, who likes to think into the future, who doesn't, just focus on what a person is doing, or what yourself is doing, within a short period of time. You tend to look ahead into the future because you want to be successful. You want to think ahead in what you could be doing in the future to make your future self become more successful. All right. So if you are a person who thinks ahead into the future, then you are an old soul for sure. All right. So these are the 7 signs you are an old soul. First sign, you like to keep everything simple. Second sign, you feel like you don't fit in with mainstream society. Third sign, you were able to connect with the older generation. Fourth sign, you have a thirst for knowledge. Fifth sign, you prefer to be alone. Sixth sign, you see the world through a different lens. And the seventh sign, you tend to think ahead in the future. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. If you're a person who thinks, if you're an old soul or not, hopefully these 7 signs will, help you give confirmation on whether you believe you are an old soul or not. Old souls are truly a blessing in this life. It's pretty rare, especially in the times we're living in. If you're a young person and you feel like you have an old soul, you may be in your 20s and you may feel like you have a 100+ year old soul or something like that. A lot of people, they tend, they describe them, being wise beyond their years and things of that nature. All right. So hopefully this video helps you out. All right. So till next time, and always remember, all power resides from within, and always keep the faith because God in the universe is always working for you. Take care, guys. God bless.